Old Fashioned Football on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog. Underdog's got a brand new offer for new customers. Play just $5 and get $50 in bonus funds when you sign up with promo code OFFSGPN.
Hey, what's up? This is Sam Acho, and you're listening to Old Fashioned Football.
Welcome to Old Fashioned Football. If you're wondering who you listen to, this is JMark. You can find me on the X at JMark Football. And if you're wondering who us is, that's at Old Fashioned FB. Before I keep going, to get to our guest to talk about the Bears and the Packers and those other guys too, I got to introduce my co-host on the pod and in life. You can find her on the X at the Mark Mir. How you doing today?
Doing better.
Yeah,
it feels weird. I think I've mentioned this before, being sick in the summer and it's sunny outside and you're just in bed under covers and it just doesn't feel right.
Yeah, for sure. The past two podcasts, we had two last week. You were sick. I asked, are you gonna have a cocktail? Nah, I don't feel good, and all that. Today I said, just to confirm, are you having a cocktail today? And you said yes. I said, she's back. She's back. All right.
I am.
I got to tell you real quick before we keep going.
Yeah.
That I do believe I'm going to have West Nile before the NFL season starts. I just think I am, with the amount of mosquito bites when picking the garden.
It is terrifying. It doesn't matter what time of day. Like, we've gone out there earlier in the day, in the morning or in the early afternoon. Evening is by far the worst time, but it doesn't matter what time because we're by the river.
Yeah.
And
we've had a lot of flooding this year.
Yes, the mosquitoes in our garden are comparable to what a murder hornet is to a wasp. The size of our mosquitoes are ginormous.
Like, I would say like a fly to a horse fly, but
no, it's more drastic. These mosquitoes are huge.
Yeah, they are very big.
They're
mosquitoes.
Terrifying, and the size, like, you come out of the garden and it's like you have welts all over your body, like you were in battle.
I literally looked because I was getting a little fed up. I'll be honest. I was out. I watered the garden and then I was picking it, which takes time. Mm-hmm. And I was getting fed up because I just kept swatting. I even put long pants on and I looked up and the swarm around me was like, "This is how I go. I'm going to die from mosquitoes."
I don't know. Like, I've never seen. Like, I know this sounds like an exaggeration, but I've never seen mosquitoes the size of the mosquitoes we have.
Mm-hmm.
And it's terrifying. The noise of them sounds like you're being swarmed by bees.
I still hear the buzz in my ear from today.
It's very intense. It's terrifying.
Yeah, it is terrifying. The chat is happy that you are back. Nick Fortune saying the North remembers. That's right.
I saw that right away and I started
thinking of Game of Thrones.
Yes,
yeah.
That got me at the beginning.
Jamie's checking in. What's up, all you beautiful people? We do have a guest today. Mm-hmm. And we'll bring him in here in a little bit here. Before we do, we got to talk a bunch of shit about the Packers because he's a Packer fan and he can't do anything when he's backstage. But
we won't do that to him.
We won't do that to him. Let's
he knows.
quick hit on some news real quick. We talked about last week. We had Moneyline Mac, the Washington fan. Notice I didn't say Commanders because he'd say, who are the Commanders? We had him on. His team trying to trade. We just asked him about Brian Robinson, and he said Brian Robinson's a badass. He got shot. He was back on the field in 4 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Now rumors coming out they're trying to trade him.
And I've got shares of him, and I don't want him to go anywhere else.
Well, you know what? I would love him on the Bears, to be honest. I think that would be an amazing fit.
Let's have even more.
No. He could be he would fit the David Montgomery role.
Okay, but are we actually going to utilize him like that?
Ben Johnson.
Like, there's a reason I'm staying away from Bears running backs this season.
Well, don't bury the lead. We'll get to the running backs in fantasy football. We had some quarterback news too.
Yes, Joe Flacco.
I
know, has been named the starting quarterback for the Browns.
I want to talk on that real quick.
Yeah.
I predicted Kenny Pickett just because it felt like if you're going with Flacco, you're trying to compete. And why the Browns aren't competing this year? This seems bizarre to me. But Pickett has been banged up.
He's got to
so
go back
maybe-
into retirement at some point, though, right? So maybe he's give him another run.
They give him one last run. I don't know. It's a weird move to me for a team that
I thought it was interesting. I was surprised. I was
Yeah.
expecting him to start at some point in the season to just kind of save the day for a moment, give him some wins. I don't know, but to come out of the bat,
we
out of the gate,
out of the bat,
swinging
out of the bat. We did talk when we talked about him. It was back in June. We said he's not a bad bet at plus 120. It was at the time, but I was bigger on Kenny Pickett just because with Flacco, you know what you have. He's an old quarterback, and you're not competing this year. But anyways, the other news:
another quarterback, Dan Jones.
Dan Jones
has been named the starting quarterback for the Colts,
which we did call correctly. He was plus 190 when we talked about it in June, and I said he is going to be the starter. And here he is as the starter.
He is.
Now, the Colts did say just because Anthony Richardson's not starting does not mean that he does not have a future with the Colts.
If he can stay healthy.
It feels like they're saying he doesn't have a future with the Colts to me.
It doesn't mean that, but...
Yeah, they have a decision. This year, they have to decide if they're going to pick up his fifth-year option. If you've already started somebody over him, I don't see any point why you would want to do that. Why would they pick up his fifth-year option? They're going to let him go in the free agency.
I think so.
Unless Dan Jones looks really bad, Anthony Richardson comes in and saves the day. I guess there is that.
If he shows up as Daniel.
As Daniel Jones. Jamie checking in saying that Brian Robinson to the Cowboys would be good. That would be another good fit
I could
for
see
sure.
I guess.
Would be... Hunter checking in saying hello.
Hello.
Josiah saying Max Brosmer best in the North. We're not talking Gophers here. What are you doing here? And Sports Nonsense Whiskey. Make sure you check out the episode we did with Pinky there, saying AR-15 sucks.
That he does.
That he does. I agree with that. But we're not talking AFC West.
No, we are talking NFC North.
We are.
We're gonna keep bringing you news, offseason changes. We're gonna do a little fantasy focus for each of these teams. We'll save bets for the end.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we're going to bring you whiskey.
Speaking of whiskey, what are we drinking today?
This is a damn good old fashioned. It's been a moment since you've made an old fashioned that has really stood out to me. Like, ooh, this is really good. I know we do the rating at the end of the show with that, but this is really good. We are drinking Keeper's Heart. It's their Irish single malt, aged 10 years, and then finished in... I don't have the bottle in front of me.
Malaga
wine casks.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Saved the day.
Yeah. Thank you. I like that you think I saved the day just by knowing my whiskey and what it's been aged in.
I was like, oh shit, it's a wine. It's a type of wine. What is it?
Yeah. Not to be confused with Henry Malaga, the wide receiver for the Calgary Stampeders. CFL in full action.
Definitely not confusing it.
Yeah, go check out the CFL Gambling Podcast. No, this is a very good old fashioned. I took a drink as well.
I was like, ooh.
And I think I make all the old fashions the same way.
So this, to
whiskey.
stand out, it is 1000% the whiskey.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So we're going to get to our guest, but real quick, Sports Gambling Podcast, they're giving away free money, people. $1,000 Circa NFL future bet. You can listen to this episode, win your Circa NFL future bet, and decide which teams win in the NFC North. We're going to talk about that with our guest, but you can win this by the phrase that pays. All you got to do is listen to every team preview. They'll give out a word. Those words in order will make up a phrase. You submit that to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/phrase, and you could be picked to win a $1,000 Circa NFL future. And how much is it to listen to their podcast?
$0.
It is free. Free money, people. Come on. Max Brosmer will carry the Vikings to the Super Bowl 100%. Lions, Kings of the North. We'll see. We'll see, buddy.
I'm nervous. I'm nervous about it. I mean, I should not talk about the Lions. I say we too much when I talk about the Lions just because they've been such a powerhouse.
We a lot.
I know. I'm gonna get kicked out of my own house.
Yeah. Yes.
I have to be careful with what I say during this podcast.
That's okay. I had a really scary thought gun to my head if I had to try to you're going to die if you don't pick who wins this division correctly, but don't say the Lions. It would not be the Bears. If you just heard the thud, that was my phone. It would not be the Bears if I had to pick somebody.
Well,
But
right.
we'll get to that.
Okay.
No, I'm saying you can't say the Lions. So you can only say Bears, Vikings,
Mhm.
Packers. It would not be the
The
Bears.
Vikings.
And you already know how I feel about the Vikings, I think, and how I'm fading them this year. Oh, it makes me feel
That
bad.
means the Packers?
Yeah,
Your fate.
I know.
Okay.
I know.
Whatever.
We'll get to that when we talk about the Packers. Real quick, before I bring the guest in, speaking of the Packers, your uncle is a Packer fan. Your
Mhm.
uncle is in the Mark Fantasy Football League and started talking a little bit of smack already. And don't blink. Started talking a little bit of smack, and we now have a frame of a bet going. Okay.
Mhm.
So Bears
Mhm.
versus Packers, and we'll have to ask our guest, the Packer fan, about this. But if the Bears win, your uncle has to paint his nails blue and orange for a week in Caleb Williams tribute.
I want his toes in there too.
If they win the second one, then he's got to do fingernails and toes, and he has to wear sandals. Now, same thing for me if the Packers win. I have to do green and gold nails or green and gold toenails if they win twice, and have to wear sandals. He said he doesn't give a shit how cold it is at the end of the year when they play. Not a problem for him in Arizona, but maybe for me. Now, maybe he didn't.
Oh, I like this. I like this a lot.
Yeah, maybe he didn't think about the fact that I work from home. I don't go anywhere. Nobody's really going to see it.
But
I will
what
show
if-
it off on the pod.
What if,
That's
like,
fine.
I need some? What if they do?
They do.
and-
Who do?
The Packers
Win. Okay.
and you have to wear sandals, and we have to go to the store. Does that mean you have to wear sandals in public?
That's what he said, and I'm not gonna.
You can't.
Just
you have
because
to
he's in
be
Arizona,
honest.
yeah, I'm not
You
gonna
have
back
to
out on
be
the bet.
honest.
So
We're gonna get video. Oh, I'm gonna knock on wood, but
okay.
because I want the Bears to do well, and I want us to just crush the Packers. But
Well,
I'm gonna have to give video evidence of that.
You are speaking
Our
of
listeners are gonna have to see that too.
Yes. Well, it'll be on our podcast. I'll have the nails for sure. I'm not going to show you my feet. You got to pay for those. Let's go ahead and bring on our guest today.
Let's do.
He is a big time Packers fan. Yes, big time Packers fan. He is a good friend of ours. He is he has an awesome bar called the Flying Moose. If you're ever going through anywhere around Des Moines, you got to stop there.
Clive.
But around Des Moines, most people don't go to Clive.
I
They
know.
go through Des Moines, but they can hit up Clive and go to
How do
the
you
Flying
know?
Moose. Let's just bring on
Let's
the
do.
disgusting Packer fan. No, I'm just kidding. You can call him the bearded bartender. RD, how we doing, man?
Doing good, guys. How are you tonight?
Good. We didn't talk
Good.
too much shit about the Packers while you're backstage, so
I'm used to it.
I did notice RD's background there. It's a stadium where Caleb Williams is undefeated. Just throwing that out there. Undefeated. Are you excited for this year? I mean, we're a couple weeks away.
We are. You know, the shit talk from Bears fans is at top notch, so you know it's still preseason.
Oh gosh.
4-0. We're like undefeated in the last 3 or 4 off seasons for moves, right? We're always like, oh, it's so good. Then it just doesn't pan out.
It seems that way. We'll see if this year is different for you guys. It might be.
Yeah, it might be. Well, much like all our division previews, we're going to go in order. So that means RD's going to have to wait to talk about his Packers.
Not as long as us. though.
Not as long as us. Real quick, somebody just popped in the chat. Channing Brown. Hey, Channing, we were going to put you in the listener league, but I realized I don't have your contact info. So I'm going to reply to you with my email. If you could send me an email of how I can get a hold of you, that would be awesome so that we can get you up in there. Because all we have left is, well, we'll announce
We're going to cover
later.
that in
Yeah.
a little bit. Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
All right, let's talk about the Lions. Miranda, I'm going to let you take their offseason changes or start with it. and
Okay. Yeah,
what
we're
you
going
got
to
so
talk
far.
about who they re-signed. Safety Kirby Joseph, wide receiver Tim Patrick, offensive lineman Dan Skipper.
Great name, by the way.
They
The Skip.
added cornerbacks DJ Reed, Avonte Maddox, Rock Yassin.
Ya-Sin. Another great name.
I know. I always like second guess myself when I'm saying that. I mean, obviously, based on who they've added, they're very interested in improving their secondary.
Yeah, for sure. And the 2 of their biggest losses, if we talk about their losses,
Mhm.
were their offensive coordinator, Ben Johnson, and defensive coordinator, Aaron Glenn. Losing both coordinators, we'll get to that in a little bit here. They also lost cornerback Carlton Davis, center Frank Ragnow. That's the guy that played with the fractured throat. Guards Kevin Zeitler and edge rusher Zadarius Smith. Had an okay draft, though.
Yeah, because they drafted defensive tackle Tyleek Williams, guard Tate Ratledge, wide receiver Isaac
Tesla.
Is it Tesla? I always want to say it like Tesla, like
I don't
a
think
Tesla.
it's Tesla.
Well, every time I see his name, I think of
he should be
Tesla.
sponsored by Tesla.
Yes.
Doing Tesla ads.
Yeah,
who has
Isaac
looked
Tesla.
pretty decent in preseason, and even in training camp, his helmet got knocked off, and he's still got in somebody's face and bumped heads with him without a helmet. He's an interesting player.
Yeah, I do think for the Lions, it's going to be interesting how they do without both their offensive and defensive coordinators from last
100%.
year. I think those are big losses to the team.
I agree.
I do think that they're going to be impacted. I'm just not sure how. But RD, we're going to turn it over to you. How do you think that the Lions are going to do without those two coaches? Do you think they're going to take a step back?
No.
No.
I mean, and from the aspect of 12-5 last year, they can do that again. When we talk about the Lions, we weren't talking about the coordinators until the season was over and they were gone. Like, yes, Ben Johnson has been an up-and-coming name, but this is the Dan Campbell show. And, when he gives a press conference, it's about biting ankles, not what team in the North they can beat. So I think you're going to continue to see the best offensive line in the division, the best defensive line in the division, do what Dan Campbell football does.
Yeah. I mean, I really like Dan Campbell, even though he's the Lions coach. So it's hard to say that, but he obviously very much cares about winning. He very much cares about these players' success, and you got to love to see that compared to some of the coaches. They want to win, obviously, but they just don't show that passion. And Campbell for sure shows that passion. We got a question in the chat, and this is great timing because RD is here. He's also a big fantasy football player like us. This is from Captain Joe King, huge fan of the show already. Appreciate you tuning in. Quick question. Should I trade Tyler Warren and Cortland Sutton for McConkey? I already have Bowers. I say hell yeah, because you have Bowers, but especially if it's a redraft. Now, if it's even Dynasty, I like having McConkey. Do you have any thoughts, or you want to turn it over?
I like McConkey for sure.
Yeah. What do you think, RD?
Pull the trigger.
Yeah.
I mean, Tyler Warren, we're still talking about Danny Jones and potentially AR-15. So
yeah,
tons of potential. Could have huge Brock Bowers upside, but we need to wait and see. Whereas you have, I mean, PPR or not, McConkey and Bowers, what a powerful duo to have, moving forward.
For sure, yeah. Now the rumors are Bears passed on Tyler Warren because of his small hands.
Don't want a tight end with small hands.
No, you don't. So I do think he will be a decent player, but he's not. I don't think he will be Bowers. And so trading McConkey or trading Sutton to get McConkey basically because you have Bowers that you're going to put in your tight end spot. I think that's a great deal for you.
Yes.
All right, so let's talk a little fantasy focus here.
Yeah. Okay. I'll start with quarterbacks. Or at quarterback. Jared.
Of course, because this is your guy.
I have a lot of shares of him. He did finish, Goff finished as QB6 last season. He's going as QB11. I think that might be a little low for him. I don't know.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts, RD?
I know how much you like him since you wouldn't trade him to me last year. I think at 11, you don't want to pay for him at his high side, so it's probably about right. He's going to have potential week to week to have those big weeks. I think you're going to see more of an emphasis on the Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery show. They're going to lean on that more than they are a Ben Johnson offense and huge plays down the field. So I think that's probably right where he should be. If you're in a 10-man league, he should be a backup. Who you can put in injury matchup.
Notice he said should be a backup, not drafting him for the starter like you have been. Or have you been doing it as a backup?
Both.
Both.
Unless you like, the QB0 approach where you're going to take guys in that range so you can go heavy earlier on your wide receivers, your tight ends, and your running backs.
Yeah.
In which case, steady Eddie, I don't think you're going to have you may have 3 or 4 weeks where he doesn't do much, but he's going to be serviceable, 75% of the year. So if you have him in that 10 range, that's good.
There's that word that Miranda
I hate
does
that
not
word.
like,
I hate
serviceable.
We have
I take serviceable. I'll take after last season. I'll take serviceable.
Yeah, for sure. Let's talk about the running backs real quick. Obviously, Jahmyr Gibbs finished RB2 last year. He's going as RB3 this year. Montgomery was 18th, going as 20th. Do you think that losing Frank Ragnow, the center, and Ben Johnson is going to hurt this run game? I mean, I think these guys are both studs. Do you think it hurts them, or are they going to be even better because, like you said, they could rely on that run game more?
If it's going to hurt either one of them, it's going to be Montgomery just in those smash the line situations with breaking in some new pieces on that offensive line.
Sure.
Jahmyr Gibbs is a stud. I mean,
yeah.
he's gonna get open. He's gonna come out of the backfield. He's not going to need, as much as a running back could not need the offensive line. He's not going to need their help in as many situations as David Montgomery will. But like I said, I think this running game is going to get leaned on. I think it's going to feel very similar to the Kamara Ingram powerhouse year.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Lions are going to be good, and I hate saying it.
I was going to say, talking pretty high on the Lions for a Packers fan.
How do you bet against them?
Yeah, I think I'm just banking on the fact that maybe Ben Johnson was a brilliant guy, but of course I'm a Bears fan, and that's who we hired. So I have to think that. I have to. Let's talk about wide receivers real quick. Obviously, Amon-Ra is a guy that you got to go after. Behind him, Jameson Williams, I almost feel like quietly finished 18th last year.
Did.
You don't hear a lot of people talking about him. Now, every offseason, it seems like Jameson Williams has been talked about. He finally put the numbers up. Now he's being drafted as wide receiver 28. We already talked a little bit about Isaac TeSlaa going as wide receiver 77. Do you like Jameson Williams at this price, or are you rolling the dice on TeSlaa?
If you're getting it at the value that they're at now. I mean, I like Jameson at 28. It still breeds in the ability to have upside there where it's not at his ceiling.
Yeah.
But he's that boomer bust guy. Hopefully you see that, if you have shares of him, you're going to see a more consistent role. But he's the big play guy. He's going to have those boomer bust weeks. If you want to take a flyer on TeSlaa, I think that's all it is. I don't think the third wide receiver role is going to be consistent enough where you're going to be looking at starting a player like that unless there's an injury, unless you're into bye weeks or anything,
Yeah.
Who says it's not going to be Tim Reynolds or, some journeyman they bring off the street in 3 weeks when somebody gets hurt that has a Tim Patrick type 3 touchdown game. I mean,
True.
I just don't think anything past Jameson Williams and Laporta you can rely on a week-to-week basis.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which, speaking of Laporta,
he
finished last year as tight end 7. He's going as tight end 4. Last year, him finishing 7th after finishing 1st his rookie year was a disappointment for me.
I know.
But I don't know. I like where he's going.
Yeah. I mean,
he bounces back.
If you look
Not that he did horrible.
He didn't do horrible. I mean, it felt horrible because he just came off that tight end 1 year, and that's what you were hoping for. So, but 7th isn't horrible, and I think top 5. I mean, we've already seen him do it once. There's no reason he can't do it again. Do you agree?
I do agree. Like we already talked about with the offensive line, if there's more pressure on Goff, you're going to go to your safety blankets. You're going to dump off to your running backs. You're going to hit the big tight end over the middle. So I think he could be in for, he's got the upside to go back to that tight end. I'd say 2 or 3. I think Bowers and McBride are going to be battling for that number 1 spot. But I definitely think Laporta is going to have at least as good a year as he did last year.
Yeah, for sure. All right, we've said way too many good things about the Lions. We're going to move
Agreed.
on to some of the other teams in this division. But before we do, I got to let you know that we're brought to you by MyBookie.ag. MyBookie is your place to bet on every sport, including the MLB, WNBA, golf, and of course, football futures. MyBookie accepts customers from a ton of locations, easy deposit, and lightning fast payouts using crypto. Get your Dogecoin ready. I would go over there right now because, of course, they have CFL. Montreal is on their fourth quarterback. That's right. Davis Alexander got hurt. McLeod Bethel Thompson got hurt. Now Caleb Evans out for the year. I would go take Winnipeg. They're only 5-point favorites right now. Just head over to mybookie.ag, promo code SGPN for 100% bet back bonus up to $500. Terms and conditions apply. That's mybookie.ag, promo code SGPN. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. Rhythm, NFL is back on Rhythm. Last season, they were 76-66 against the spread. Nice rhythm. You almost kept up with old JMark here. And 22-19 on over-unders. It really shined on the player props, though. They were 15-8 on Josh Allen passing props. That's a 23% return on interest. Rhythm also has MLB, WNBA, golf, and college football. Go to the site today and start building your NFL models for week 1. Get your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. All right. It's time to talk the Vikings.
It is. They finished second last year.
Yeah.
With Sam Darnold as their starting quarterback. In the offseason, some of their additions at defensive tackle, they added Jonathan Allen. They also added Javon Hargrave at center, Ryan Kelly, Will Fries at guard, and then running back Jordan Mason from the Niners.
Yeah.
And then obviously Sam Darnold's no longer there. They lost him at quarterback. They lost safety. Cameron Binham, offensive tackle, Cam Robinson, edge Patrick Jones, cornerback Stephon Gilmore, and then Garrett Bradbury at center.
I was not a fan of their draft, though. I mean,
guard
one
Donovan Jackson.
I think he's really the only one that stands out. However, they were very aggressive in the free agency. They spent the second most amount of money next to the Patriots, who were number 1. They re-signed Aaron Jones, obviously, brought on Jordan Mason, revamped that defensive line. They look like they are set up to be more aggressive in the run game. And I think that makes sense if you look back to J.J. McCarthy, the Michigan Wolverine guy, who in success, it was built off of a strong defense and a strong run game. I'm going to turn it over to RD here because I've already on record said that I don't think J.J. McCarthy's the guy. I was on VSiN this weekend, and I trashed the Vikings. Now, they said they would expect nothing less from a Bears fan. But I don't know if he's the guy, even though the coach is very smart, obviously. RD, are you buying in?
I buy into Kevin O'Connell.
Yeah.
He did it with Cousins. He's done it with Darnold. Like, clearly, I mean, Danny Dimes got paid off of just being in the same room. And the Vikings are going to end up with a 4th-round pick out of that if Dan Jones starts enough.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say that I'm bought in on J.J. McCarthy, the quarterback. I'm bought in on the Vikings quarterback one in fantasy, especially when you can get him late as a backup, or again, like I talked about earlier, you could go QB0 and just go heavy in the skill positions the rest of the way. But it's just the Vikings QB1. It has nothing to do with J.J. McCarthy.
Yeah. I have to agree with that. Like, I don't necessarily think it matters who's quarterbacking that team.
I'm fading him.
Huh?
I'm fading him.
I thought you said you're fading the Vikings, though.
Yeah, them, but because of J.J. McCarthy, I don't think he's that good.
I think he can. I disagree with you. Not that he's that good, but I think that he'll work.
Yeah, think he'll be serviceable.
He'll be serviceable.
I think the problem he's going to run into is you can spend all the money in the world, and I love Brian Flores as a defensive coordinator, but until we see a defense that consistently keep other people off the field, so that the quarterback whose game is predicated on handing the ball off and taking play action shots has a chance at success. If they're giving up tons of points, he is not the quarterback that's going to get in shootout games.
Right.
At least from what we saw at Michigan and coming off of injury, that's not the kind of guy he is. he is definitely a steady Eddie. He's not going to go get you. He's not going to have 40-point fantasy football week ever.
No.
At least not this season.
For sure.
All right, let's talk about fantasy focus, I guess, for them.
Yeah.
We already talked. We're talking about McCarthy, who's going as QB 19. So I'm just gonna skip over him, go right to running backs.
Yeah, we know you guys are drafting him and I'm not. So yeah, let's do
I
it.
don't know. Oh, just, if you need somebody,
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, we can disagree, Justin.
There we go. In the chat here, Randy's saying he's a game manager, not a franchise quarterback. People said that about Kyle Orton, though, and I know Randy's a big Kyle Orton guy. So, but anyways, continue on your running back.
That's unfortunate.
Right.
All right. A running back. We have Aaron Jones, who's had some knee issues, and he's going right now as RB 27. Mason is not far behind him at RB 34. So, I mean, RD, who do you think is the more valuable running back for fantasy?
Valuable is going to be Jordan Mason, even though I feel like there should be a little bigger gap preseason between the two. But I think people understand, like, if the Vikings are going to go spend draft capital, and even though it wasn't a ton, to get Jordan Mason, they clearly have a role that they have in mind to use him.
Yeah.
And as someone who's watched a lot of Aaron Jones throughout his career, his best years are when he has the complimentary back. When he's asked to do too much last year, you get into the injuries. Even his last year in Green Bay, asked to do too much, dinged up at the end of the year, got healthy for the playoff run. So I think you're going to see Jordan Mason be the, 1 and 2 down back, goal line back. Aaron Jones going to come in, give you that burst, be that passing down guy. But more value out of Jordan Mason than you're going to get at Aaron Jones in the top 30.
Yeah, I'm big on Mason this year. I've been kind of picking him up in drafts because I don't trust Aaron Jones's knees. First of all, I think that's going to continue to be a problem. Mason, I think, will get the red zone carries. So I think if you're basing it off of touchdowns, especially if you're in a standard league, I think it's Jordan Mason that is the back that you want here. And I do think that they're going to try to run the shit out of the ball to make JJ comfortable. And I think that that's too much for Aaron Jones. I'm just big on Jordan Mason. I think he looked really good for the 49ers. Obviously, the Niners have a ton of backs, and obviously their running backs do fit the scheme to where they look good. But I think it's going to translate.
Are they the Temu version of the Lions?
They might be.
I mean, if you look at it, quarterback position, running back, you got the two. You go to wide receiver, you got the big stud and the young guy who you hope pops through. You got an Iowa tight end. I mean, they are the Temu version of the Detroit Lions.
I love it.
But with the Lions, I'm all about Dan Quinn. I love O'Connell. I love Flores. I love the coaching staff in Minnesota.
Yeah, I like that.
I'm
analogy.
not going to get past the Temu.
The Temu. Yeah. Which shout out to Temu. They did refund our money after our niece bought stuff while she was playing games on my phone. So at least they refunded it.
Because they made that way. You shouldn't have had anything hooked up to that app.
I understand this.
They made it way too easy for her to buy things without knowing it.
Mm-hmm. They did. Let's talk about the wide receivers. I mean, Justin Jefferson's going as wide receiver 2 on most sites, third some, 5th overall player. Are you trusting this JJ McCarthy to JJ throwing to him? I mean, do you think he's still going to be a top dog?
The play action quarterback has to throw deep to somebody, and JJ will get open.
Yeah.
Until I mean, again, the wide receiver who made the tail end of Kirk Cousins look amazing and made Sam Darnold get paid.
Mm-hmm.
You have to trust him. And
yeah,
of the guys who you might jump in front of him in the rankings, question marks like Malik Neighbors, how healthy is he?
Yeah,
CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens.
Right.
There's questions. Not that those things will deter them from having a top 5 wide receiver season, but there's question marks. You know, it's not a question. Throwing the ball to Jet.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree.
I agree with that 100%.
Yeah, I think despite my JJ McCarthy hate, I think it goes Jamar Chase and then Justin Jefferson. I think those have to be the 1-2 wide receivers off the board.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
Yeah. All right. Our Temu tight end. I don't know that I can't say Hawkinson is a
Compared to
team.
Laporta?
Yes, compared to Laporta. But we've got obviously TJ Hawkinson. I do think he's primed for a good season, especially because JJ McCarthy being younger and those young quarterbacks like utilizing the tight end. They're getting open. They're looking for them. It's like a safer
they're safety
down
net.
the field. But he's going as tight end 5. Do you think that's too high, or do you think that's right for him?
I think it's a little high.
I do too.
Mm-hmm.
Just not a ton. I think he's a top 10 tight end, but he's not. He's not what he was his first year in Minnesota. He's not what he was his last year in Detroit. He's dealt with injuries. He's getting older. Can still be a great tight end, but that does not mean that he's going to have a I don't see the window for a huge breakout. Whereas you can see that in some of these other roles, whether it be Laporta, Kraft, just with the mouths to feed already there, where he's at in his career. I just think he's a little high there. I think he's probably 7-8.
Yeah, yep. I agree with that. And this makes me feel sick to say it, but I've been picking up we'll talk about Tucker Kraft, but I've been picking him up a lot in leagues because you can get him late. And I just think he is going to be good. I think he's a solid guy that has proven that he can be good.
I won't name the draft going on right now, but that's about where he's going to fall in this draft. And
I'm nab him?
I'm set up to potentially get him there. I would take him at 7th and 8th, and I think he's going to go 8th.
All right, we're going to talk about both of our teams in 1 second here, but before we do, I got to let you know that we're brought to you by the Circa. They have the Circa Million and Circa Survivor. The world's greatest sportsbook, Circa Las Vegas, is hosting the world's biggest pro football contest, Circa Million, Circa Survivor, and don't forget the Circa Grandissimo. With over $21 million in guaranteed prizes, you can't call yourself a true degen if you're not competing in the Circa football contest. Come hang out this weekend with SGPN. Sean and Kramer are going to be there. Moneyline Max, CJ Sullivan, the man in the box. They're all going to be there at the Circa Contest weekend, August 21st through the 23rd, for an amazing weekend, including live shows and open bars. You had made an open bar. Plus, you get 15% off a stay at the Circa with promo code SGP15. Contests are open to everyone. You have to sign up in Vegas, but then you can play from anywhere with the help of SGPN's official proxy. Go to footballcontest.com and use promo code SGP to get $50 off your proxy fees.
We're also brought to you by Underdog. Underdog Best Ball Mania is happening all summer long, giving away $15 million in prizes, including $2 million to first place. There's no waiver wire, no arguments about trades. Best Ball is the best way to play fantasy football. Underdog is also a great place to play Pick'em, where you can win up to 500 times your entry. And Justin will keep giving out some CFL picks and NFL preseason picks on our socials. So don't forget to subscribe. Underdog also has a brand new offer for new customers with our promo code OFFSGPN. You play just $5 and you get $50 in bonus funds. Again, that's when you sign up with our promo code OFFSGPN. We are back. That's a great way to get into it. If you've never tried it before, all you got to do is throw out $5. They give you 50 free. That's an excellent way to maybe test the waters dip your toes into Underdog Fantasy.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. RD, next up is the Packers. They finished 3rd, but they still won 11 games.
That's crazy, isn't it?
It is.
Finished 3rd, but you won 11 games. Yeah.
So we're going to turn it over to you. What are the important losses or additions in this offseason? Any news we should know about, or why we should be buying into the Packers?
I mean, I think the number one news is they finally used a first-round draft pick on a wide receiver. And that drum's been beaten since the draft, but to see some of the video come out of Indianapolis last week of the joint practice with the Packers and the Colts, seeing what Matt Golden is able to do against their 1s and 2s, it's promising. But regardless of what round you're drafted in, we've seen promising with a ton of these wide receivers in this convoluted draft room. As far as other key additions, draft wise, they really just took guys to fill out depth. I don't think there was any big names, at least that I considered, guys that we're going to think are going to be starters. I think really that they're doing what the Packers do, hoping they get a big jump from year 2 and year 3 guys, Edrin Cooper, Lucas Van Ness on defense. Hopefully Romeo Dobbs can take that next step forward. And that's kind of the state of where the Packers are at, both for the division and in fantasy football. Is what we've seen from Jordan Love just what we're going to get, or is there another gear? Is there another step? Is there another place this team can go?
So, and I kind of mentioned this right before we brought you on about gun to head. If I have to pick somebody that's not the Lions to win this division, I'm actually picking the Packers, and it's disgusting to say, but I'm trying to be unbiased here. If you look at Jordan Love's history as their starter, which is only 2 years, I love to hate on Jordan Love, but made the playoffs both years. Both years lost to the team that ended up representing the NFC in the Super Bowl, the Niners and the Eagles. So if you think of it in those terms, it's like they've been one of the best teams. They just got beat by the team that went to play on in the Super Bowl. That's impressive for your first 2 years of starting. I mean, you can't write that off, right? So if I had to pick a team that's going to shake it up and win this division, let's say the Lions do take a step back. Let's say they did need Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn. I think it could be the Packers. I hate saying it. I'm getting like goosebumps and feeling sick to my stomach saying it, but I'm trying to be realistic. What do you think of that take?
I'm seeing if I heard that right. No, I think it's a good.
You heard that right.
I think it is a good take. I think the interesting thing about the whole division, not just Packers being one of the teams that could potentially jump up. If I gave you a scenario and gave you any one of the teams in the North winning all the way through fourth, any combination those are in, we could sit here and make an argument that it could happen.
Yeah.
And that it's not like it's some big upset. Like if I told you that Ben Johnson is an offensive genius, they got it figured out when Caleb Williams has time. He looks like preseason Caleb Williams. Like that is a legitimate argument we could have. So I definitely like your argument because it makes me feel better about my team. I do think of the 3 teams that can beat the Lions, the highest odds, and betting wise, it looks like the Packers. I'm just cautiously optimistic. I might have got too high on the Jordan Love train because of how mad I got at Rodgers at the end. He's an analytical superhero. Like if you go to the analytics, like, efficiency, production, he's amazing. But then when you look at the eye test, it's like, okay, but he falls short against the top end quarterbacks at the position. So
yeah,
I'm taking all of it with a grain of salt because I don't want to be too high and have my heart broken by November.
Well, and I'm only saying it to jinx him, obviously.
Obviously.
I didn't sound like it. It really didn't sound like it. And after everything you just said, you can't give me any shit about anything I say about the Lions.
That's fair. That's fair. Hunter pointing out Van Ness, Iowa guy. He sat in front of his family at the Big Ten championship game against Michigan. Very nice people. Yeah, Midwest nice, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's right. I feel like this whole division is the Hawkeye division.
Yes.
They're everywhere. They're everywhere.
I love it. All right. Let's talk some fantasy. Jordan Love finished as QB 17 last year, which is actually exactly where he's going this year. Do you think that's too low for him?
It's way too low. I mean, he finished at QB 17 because he was hurt and dealing with injuries. Now, can you deal with injuries every single season? Of course, but it was a week 1. You had the Malik Willis stuff. 17 is disrespectful. Like I said, he's an analytical hero when he's on the field. If you look at the stretch where they say he was healthy last year, the fantasy points were there. He had big games. 17's a slap in the face.
Nick Fortune pointing out Kramer of the mothership, his take on Jordan Love is he's the crazy ex-girlfriend. Nick, I I don't know if I can trust that, because when the Giants got rid of the Eagles, he made a case of where I don't think so, or sorry, the Giants got rid of Saquon and the Eagles got him.
Got rid
Yeah,
of
they
the
got.
Eagles.
He made a case that Saquon's not going to be that good. He was only good because of volume. That sounds like a crazy X of being like, they weren't that good. Just throwing that out there.
Where do you have Jordan Love finishing, since you're so all hyped on the Packers right now?
Just outside the top 12, I'll say. 17 probably too low, but outside top 12. I think they run a balanced offense. I think it's going to be balanced enough that maybe he's not going to be one of those big fantasy football point guys.
All right.
Just
we'll see. I don't know. At running back, we've got Josh Jacobs. He had his first year with the Packers last year. Do you think he can run it back and finish as a top 5 again?
Set it and forget it. Yes, I do. I love Josh Jacobs. I love the signing. We actually talked about this last year when I said Packers really kind of got the same running back, except got younger when they got Jacobs from a contractual standpoint, what they had with Aaron Jones. I love him. I don't think you need to touch anything else in this backfield. I don't think Marshawn Lloyd has shown anything strong enough of a hamstring to think that he's going to be a person who can produce on a consistent basis. Yeah. And when we get these performances from Emmanuel Wilson and some no-namer they just signed off the practice squad to play a preseason game and goes nuts. I mean, it's just, I don't think there's going to be any consistency past the bell cow. And you can take Josh Jacobs right up. I mean, 5's at the top, you're getting him kind of right at his ceiling, but at the same time, if you're going to tell me I'm going to get him at his ceiling, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, for sure. A shout out to the chat real quick. Random Anton saying, I was watching an Eagles channel. I'm curious if it was Jacob Sports. I've been a guest on that before, but Autoplay brought him here. Welcome.
Yeah, welcome.
Welcome. Now, RD, by the way, Random, we're talking NFC North. We are Bears fans. We're going against this Packer fan here, but
I don't know. You just sounded like a Packer fan a little bit ago.
I know. It sounds disgusting.
Scares me.
I think the question that everybody wants to know, obviously they spent that first round pick on a wide receiver, but for fantasy football wise, and Nick Fortune putting it here, do you trust a Packers wide receiver fantasy football wise?
No.
Yeah.
No.
I don't either.
It's such a, until we see somebody clearly step out as the number one, which I think Matt Golden has the big playability to be, to be a Jameson Williams, like probably better than that. Just as far as he's probably going to get some more consistent targets than I think Jameson has gotten, where Jameson's gotten all those deep shots, but he still has to deal with the fact that Romeo Doubs is going to get the ball thrown at him. Tucker Kraft is going to get the ball thrown at him. Josh Jacobs, to a certain extent, started catching more passes last year than he did his last couple of years in Oakland. So it's such a balanced offense. It's tough to say, that you're going to have somebody. I don't think you're going to have a league winner
right
out of any of these guys, but all of them in their certain aspects can be a reliable starter week to week.
Yeah. So you mentioned Josh Jacobs catching the ball, small sample size, but I feel like he is better when they utilize him in the pass game. I mean, I remember even for the Raiders, he would take some little wheel routes and turn them into huge gains. And it's like, why aren't they throwing the ball more? Like, I don't understand it. Packers started seeing that last year, I believe. So, I think there's a lot of weapons to spread the ball around. And again, LaFleur, even though I'm not a Packer fan, I think he's a good coach. And I think that whole offense just runs balanced.
Yes. And that's, I love all these wide receivers. And if they were in different situations in the NFL, I think a lot of them could be, maybe not top 5 guys, but you're talking right around the back end of the top 10, great starters. But in this offense, I mean, it's so deep. Even the guys even Savion Williams, who's a late pick for him, who they're saying could be a Cordero Patterson type player. Like, LaFleur hasn't had a gadget player like that. He's had your Jaden Reeds, your smaller, speedier guys. he hasn't had a dude that's 6'2" and can burn. And
Yeah.
so just the amount of different things this offense can trick around with and play with, it's not conducive to having a top 10 wide receiver.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Fantasy wise.
Yeah. And then we kind of already touched on Tucker Kraft, but he's going as tight end 11. But I feel like I keep seeing him slide in more drafts than I see him going higher than that. He was tight end 7 last year. I know you already kind of hit on it, but I think he's a slept on tight end.
I do too. I think the upside is so big that I think people look at it just the kind of the way we talked about the wide receivers and just kind of put the tight end in Green Bay in that pass catcher scenario where there's just so many mouths to feed. If you go back and watch, or you did watch, he does so many different things in this offense. When the Packers do the tush push, it's him that's running the ball. He's the quarterback in that scenario. So I just think this coaching staff loves him. They find different ways to use him. I think he has the potential to be 3-4. Probably shouldn't go any later than he is right now.
Well, for crying out loud, I should have had a clip ready of Jordan Love running the tush push. No wonder they don't let him do it. Not one of his better moments. Nick Fortune wondering how many shares of Packers you own, the only publicly traded team out there.
If he means fantasy shares, plenty. If he means a piece of paper on my wall that says I'm an owner, I do not have one of those, though I wouldn't mind having one.
All right.
I do have a brick outside the stadium, though.
Oh, nice. Love it.
Yeah.
All right, should we transition?
Talk about our Bears?
Let's talk about our Bears. See what RD says about them.
Last in the division last year. Kick us off with offseason changes.
Well, I mean, we already alluded to the fact they added Ben Johnson, which I think is huge. It's also he's going to call the offensive plays. I mean, if you think about Caleb Williams, this is only his second year. This is his third offensive play caller because they had Shane Waldron and they fired him.
He's gone through a lot. We just ruined.
We ruined quarterbacks. They also have defensive coordinator Dennis Allen, who I think is a really good defensive coordinator. Head coach, no, but defensive coordinator, yes. For players, some of the big names they added: guard Joe Tooney, guard Jonah Jackson. They added Grady Jarrett. They added edge rusher Dio Odeyingbo, and a guy that's, I think, a little bit slept on because you hear about your DJ Moores, your Roma Dunzes, your Luther Burdens, but we saw it in preseason. Olamide Zacchaeus.
Yeah.
I think that's a guy that Caleb can rely on third downs.
If we want to take a look at like some of the things we lost this offseason, I don't know that I'm terribly worried about losing guys like Tevin Jenkins or DeMarcus Walker. We also, we lost Keenan Allen. He was decent, but he is getting up there for age, for football anyway.
I almost forgot. Sorry, center Drew Dahlman. We added him too, which I think was big. Anyways, sorry.
No, you're good. But Keenan Allen is also a little bit of injury prone as well. So I'm not as concerned losing him. When you look at our draft, we drafted tight end Colston Loveland, wide receiver Luther Burden, edge Shamar Turner, and running back Kyle Monangai.
Yeah. And the biggest question is, I think that the Bears finally made a splash. They got the head coach that everybody was after. But I think the biggest question is, will he turn this team around, and did they do enough on the offensive line and add enough weapons to help Caleb Williams? As a Packers fan, what do you think, RD?
What's the definition of success in this particular situation? Like, is it, if it's that, I think that's a definitive possibility. If you're saying they're going to win 2 playoff games, be in the NFC Championship, and that's success, no, he's not going to succeed. If you give him the time that he needs to continue building this offense in the next couple off seasons, now you're talking about perennial, and that's where you want to get. I think this offense is going to take a step forward, but I think it's going to take a step forward kind of like the Packers offense. You're going to have a very balanced offense. There's so many weapons. Like DJ Moore's probably the number one, but then you also draft Luther Burden to pair with Roma Dunze right behind him. And you could have been using Cole Kmet this whole time, but now we get Loveland, but we still have Kmet. So I think just in the way that we've seen Ben Johnson coach in Detroit, you're probably looking at your top 2 wide receivers are probably going to be the fantasy guys. Running back, you guys know better than I do. It's probably D Swift, but that could change. It's not Roshan Johnson, right, Justin?
No, never. Should have never drafted him. Yeah, no, absolutely.
This team scares me for sure.
Yeah, I think they have a lot of right pieces, and I'm putting trust in the fact that Ben Johnson's the right guy to use those pieces. Anton saying he liked, and I know that his name is Olamide Zacchaeus, but I've always said Olamide, and I'm going to stick with that. But he is really solid. I think he's going to be a good player, especially with Luther Burden still. He was injured in training camp, so he's going to start a little bit slower. Hunter likes Austin Booker, our defensive end out of Kansas. 2 years ago, we drafted him. I love Austin Booker, but it's so easy for me to say that because in a mock draft, I drafted him to the Bears. And so when you draft 7 rounds and you hit a 5th rounder like that, or actually a 4th rounder, they traded into the 4th round to get him, I believe. It just makes me feel really smart. So I have to say it's a great pick. Just shifting over to fantasy football, Caleb Williams going as QB 15. I could see him being a top 12. There's a lot of weapons there. If you look at last year, he did okay. He still put up 3,500 yards, even though he was the 3rd highest sacked quarterback in an NFL season ever. What do you think about Caleb Williams? Do you think he can be a top 12 guy?
I think he can be a top 12 guy if the offensive line looks like the offensive line looked on the first drive of the preseason game. Yeah. And not to say that's obviously the game is going to be completely different when we get into the regular season.
Sure.
But if they can give him that kind of time, they've put enough talent around him, he's going to be able to find them, and they're going to be able to make plays. And that's why you bring in Ben Johnson a year late. But that's fine. I think that was on him the year before. But they finally got the quarterback with the coach that they want. I think the upside for Caleb Williams is obviously, I mean, he could be a top 6 or 7 if that offensive line plays the way they kind of are paying them or hope that they're going to.
Yeah.
If the offensive line looks like he did last year, he's going to be right around where he was last year because he's going to be running for his life, and the weapons aren't going to matter if you can't get him the ball.
Right. Yeah. And I think Caleb Williams is a composed guy. I mean, you as a Packer fan can even look at that game against the Packers in Lambeau for that final drive. He looked very composed driving them down the field to get that game-winning field goal. That's something you're asking of a rookie who's behind a bad offensive line. Nothing's been clicking all year, it seems like, but he still was able to do it. I think that's just something Bears fans can build on. They can build on the fact that, like, he looks so composed, he can do this as long as you build around him properly.
Right. And I think the other thing that Bears fans should look forward to is you have a culture coach. Like, he's not necessarily, you don't think of him as like a hoorah, like Dan Campbell, but you can just tell in the way that he kind of gets on players. Brew Mazzari's a bit of a hard-nosed coach as far as getting on players, which from a team, the mental aspect maybe cost them a game or two. If you look at, let's say, the Washington game last year, safety's not paying attention. I don't think that's going to be a problem this year.
Yeah,
like
agreed.
He's going to have people ready to play football, and he's got a culture which is going to get you wins in close games. And they played in enough close games last year. If we always look at the teams that win them, they're going to have regression. Well, if the Bears lost some, it's going to flip the other way. So I think if he can, I think that team's going to go as the offensive line goes. It's like death taxes and Bears defense. Even when they have down years, they're still a solid defense.
Yeah.
Like, I don't remember one time in my life I'm like, oh man, that Bears defense is terrible.
All right.
It doesn't happen.
Right.
It's like great quarterbacks in Green Bay.
I saw we got a question on running backs there.
Oh yeah, from Hunter.
Yes.
Do you think Monangai has any fantasy value?
I was just gonna bring us into that because I'm kind of staying away from our running back room because we still don't know if it's mainly going to be Swift or Sean Johnson or how they're going to, bring in Monangai. But I know you and I kind of agree on Rashawn Johnson.
Yeah.
But I think there's potential that it's going to be Swift and Monangai together.
I've drafted a lot of Monangai in the 16th, 17th round. It's hard to take anything away from preseason. I mean, we've had guys that have looked really good, but I don't even know if they're going to be on the team. RD, are you staying away from this running back room?
Until we see what we have, like we know Ben Johnson's it's going to be two guys. It's DeAndre Swift is getting a little bit older in the years. Not that he's old, but he's got some miles on the tires.
Yeah.
So it's definitely going to be two. It's just we'll see which two. But when we're talking about value, it's like that's just what kind of league are we talking about? Like, is there fantasy value for him in a dynasty league? Of course. Like, he's a young running back on a team that's hopefully getting better at offensive line over the next few years. Yeah, absolutely. There's value. Is there value in drafting DeAndre Swift in the second round? No. So, I mean, that's when I struggle with value, and maybe I try not to take shots at players because there's a time and place where you're going to take any of these guys. I think this is an up-and-coming offense with a good offensive mind. Any weapons that you take, if you're not reaching for them in this offense, that's a good gamble.
Yeah. Take anybody at the right time, minus Rashawn Johnson. Really, I honestly wouldn't be surprised if he gets cut. I know people think I'm just a Rashawn hater, but the coaches that drafted him didn't use him. So I don't know if the coaches that didn't draft him are going to use him. Just looking at wide receivers, I think kind of what you were just talking about, value. I think it depends on the round you get them, but I like the value of all these guys, where they're going. DJ Moore at wide receiver 20, maybe a little high because they're going to spread the ball around, but he's such a stud.
He is a stud.
I mean, this is a guy.
The stud wide receiver.
Yeah, this is a guy that finished top 12 with Justin Fields throwing the ball to him. And I love Justin Fields, but he's not a guy that normally can put those kind of numbers up. Roma Dunze at wide receiver 38, Luther Burden 61. Even, I already mentioned Zacchaeus. He's going as wide receiver 107. I think at the beginning of the year, he's going to have value. If you have to pick one of those at their ADP, again, Moore at 20, Odunze wide receiver 38, Burden 61. Are you picking one over the other?
For me, it's DJ Moore because he's got top 10 upside.
Yeah.
If the offensive line plays well, you give Caleb Williams time. He's going to be he showed himself in Carolina. He showed himself with lesser quarterbacks his entire career. This isn't a new thing for him in Chicago. It's been with him everywhere he's been. He studs. He's like Terry McLaurin. No matter who the quarterback is, he's going to be solid. So if you're going to tell me that, if I'm gambling on success, the offensive line is going to play better. Caleb Williams is going to be able to get the ball to whoever he wants. DJ Moore is going to be the one that eats. I think the Burden and Loveland being drafted so close together, it worries me about what they really feel about Rome.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna see an increase almost automatically just because you lose the Keenan Allen target share. But to draft two more pass catchers a year removed, like you're saying with Rashawn Johnson, they didn't draft him. I mean, GM did, coach didn't. So it gives me a lot of pause on having confidence in Rome just because they were so eager to get the tight end and the wide receiver so close together in this draft.
Yeah, for sure.
So looking at let's look at tight ends.
Yeah.
Of course, we still have Cole Kmet, but in our preseason game, we saw Colston Loveland get involved early and often. I like what I'm seeing. I think he could be the dude. I think he could be the guy that'll make like a Sam Laporta like playmaker for them.
And Ben Johnson drafts Sam Laporta as the offensive coordinator. I know he didn't make the decision probably, but yeah, I mean, I like the comparison there. What do you think, RD? Do you think Loveland can put up those numbers?
Yeah, I do. It's a Ben Johnson offense. You have to trust what you've seen. as far as when we're looking ahead for this draft. It's not the same coaching staff that completely ignored Cole Kmet. You drafted him for a reason. So here's my question, though. When they drafted him, were you happy that he went in front of some other tight ends?
I just wasn't happy that we drafted
a tight end.
I've been a big Cole Kmet guy. I didn't think that was our biggest need. I mean, we had defensive line that we really needed help on, especially the interior or an edge rusher. Running back, I felt like we needed help with. Now, I know Caleb Johnson would have been a reach there, right? But we ended up just saying, like, well, we kept missing. That's what I kept hearing. Well, the Bears were interested in running backs, but they kept missing them. Well, you got to take a leap on somebody then.
Yep.
I just thought there were more needs than tight end at that point. Now, that's nothing against Loveland. I think he's a good player. I've liked everything I've seen, but I don't think that was our biggest need. That's what makes me so high on him in fantasy football, because there's a reason that they must have been so high on him.
100%. I agree.
Yeah. We're going to talk some bets, and then we're going to get RD out of here. But real quick, Trey Loveland in the chat saying, who would y'all play in flex spot PPR league? Rashee Rice, DJ Moore, Debo, or Tony Pollard? And then do you think DJ Moore is better than Rice early weeks? I like him after Rice's suspension, but do I start him over Rice? It's so hard to say without knowing in regular season how that Bears offense is going to roll, but I do think DJ Moore is still the guy, like we just talked.
He's a stud.
Yeah. So as far as the flex spot, I mean, obviously I'm a Bears fan. I'm biased, but I like DJ Moore, and I would play him over Rice. What do you think, RD?
I completely agree. I don't see anybody on that list that I would consist. I mean, there might be weeks where you like Rashee Rice after you've seen something. But if you want consistency with high upside, you go DJ Moore. Debo, I mean, who knows what to expect in Washington with him. And Tony Pollard, I actually like a lot. Tajay's been banged up, but in that offense, that team is going to struggle this year. They're rebuilding.
Yep, for sure. Yeah, and you know all about having Chiefs receivers, so you're probably saying avoid Rice right now.
Stay away from it.
Hollywood!
All right, so before we let you go, RD, we're going to let's talk about some NFC North bets that you guys have.
All right. RD, you want to kick it off? You got a couple for us?
I do. I just kind of got on today just to see how odds and everything looked. The Lions plus money to win the division. I know it hurts your soul, but like if we're betting and we're just trying to win money, like I just, until we see one of these other teams actually take the step forward. Like, yeah, the Packers beat them. Great. That was not last year, obviously. They beat them at the tail end of the 2023 season. And then what? Dan Campbell just consistently keeps doing it. They have arguably the best wide receivers in the division, the best running backs in the division, the best offensive line in the division. How do you bet against them? So if you can get them in plus money, you're doubled up automatic. I think I saw them earlier today at plus 160. Like, okay, lock it in.
Yeah, I like it. It's a hard division. I do think that. I think it's very competitive, but I agree. Until they prove that they can't do it, you got to take them to do it. So I like that one. One I'll throw out real quick, which I also feel is easy. Caleb Williams over 3,600.5 passing yards. That's at minus 115. Last year, he had just over 3,500. And this whole offense, we just talked about the Bears and how they should be so much better. So you're only asking them to get basically 50 more yards, 59.5 if we're being critical here. That seems easy. And then I've heard kind of the argument, well, Ben Johnson likes to run the ball. Well, the last 3 years, Goff passed 539, 605, and 587. Every year has been over 4,400 yards. Detroit was very balanced in passing and running. I mean, it just seems to me like a no-brainer. I don't see any reason why he wouldn't at least get 100 more yards than he had last year.
I completely agree with you. 100%. But
I knew there was a but.
if I told you that every single year it snowed in Alaska, and I gave you the option to bet whether this year it was going to snow in Alaska, what would you do? You bet it to snow in Alaska. Is that, would 3,600 be the Bears record?
It's got to be close. I mean, I know
that's what scares me. Superstitious wise, that's what would fade me off that bet. But everything you just said, I completely agree with.
Yeah.
It on paper it looks exactly like it should for follow that bet.
Yeah.
But it's the Bears and trying to hit a 4,000 yard quarter, and I know 36 not 4, but superstition would scare me a little on that one if I were a Bears fan.
That's fair. You got any others for us?
I do. I used one of those big sites today. The Kings of the North parlay. You can bet the Detroit Lions, the Green Bay Packers, the Chicago Bears, and the Minnesota Vikings all to make the playoffs at plus 1197. In a division where we think any team could win it, any team could lose it. I think every one of these teams, if they all just kind of chip away at each other in the division, so everybody's kind of at that 3-3 mark, and then they play as good as I love the coaching staff in Detroit. I love the roster in Detroit. I love the coaching staff in Minnesota. I love the coaching staff in Chicago. I hate saying all this stuff. I obviously love my own Packers. Plus 1197. That's, you don't even got to bet that much to win that much. And if all four of them can make the playoffs, you're golden.
I like
and
it.
Not necessarily likely, but I think this division is going to be strong. I feel like as Detroit's gotten better, Minnesota's swung back. You're seeing a big swing from Chicago as far as taking swings to really get better. Not just, I don't feel like they're making their typical Chicago moves where it's like it's a headline, but there's not substance. I feel like there's substance behind the Bears move. There's a purpose. I love the way all these teams are looking in the division, which scares me as a Packers fan, but liking to be like, oh, well, we're playing the toughest division in football. I mean, it makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah. RD Eric Kramer passed for 3,800 yards in a season for the Bears. I mean, if Eric Kramer can do it, Caleb Williams can do it.
Yeah. What year was that?
Probably 1994 or something like that.
So that's pre-Harbaugh.
Yeah, right. Last bet I'll give out. I gave this out on the main show for the Bears preview, and a lot of people liked it. So I'll give it out again in case somebody missed it. Colston Loveland, ladder on his yards. Now, we already talked about how they drafted him for a reason. Sam Laporta had 889 yards in his rookie year under Ben Johnson. You can get Laporta at 600 yards is minus 150, 700 yards is plus 125, 800 is plus 250. Then if you want to take it to 900, that's plus 400, and 1,000 yards is plus 750. I just think I think they're going to get him involved. So I was close. It was 1995. I was close. Eric Kramer, first Bears jersey I ever had, by the way.
So coming off of that 3,800 yards, 96. What did they draft? Cade McNown that year?
It might have been
96. Him coming out of the Rose Bowl.
Yeah.
They really valued those 3,800 yards that Eric Kramer passed for the Chicago Bears. So much that they drafted UCLA quarterback Cade McNown.
Yep, absolutely. RD, thank you for joining us. Before you go real quick, I want to talk about something very important that you are doing, and we're throwing it up on the screen here. If you are watching on the computer, scan it with your phone. I also, in the CFL this weekend, there were 4 games. I gave out the first touchdown in all 4 games. I had some people ask, like, do you accept tips? I would much rather you donate to this, but RD, tell us about this. Let us know where people could, give $1 or $2.
So the Finnegan Strong Golf Tournament is a benefit tournament that started for one of my brothers, one of my friend's brothers who had a brain aneurysm. So they started doing this tournament every year as a fundraiser to help him with cost of living, physical therapy, all the numerous amounts of hospital bills and everything like that. And then as they've had success through this benefit and moved on, their kind of goals have gotten bigger and loftier, and they've grouped with a one-of-a-kind adult assisted living home in West Des Moines, Iowa called Liberty Landing. It's specifically for people with intellectual disabilities or that are in wheelchairs and their caregivers. So it gives them a place where they can still feel like an adult, not that they're dependent on somebody, and also gives them kind of that, I don't think college dorm's the right term, but that community aspect, if you will. So I played in this tournament the last few years. Last year, I decided I was going to grow out my beard for one more year and shave it off to raise money. So what we did is I have the QR code that's up goes directly to the Finnegan Strong Venmo, which then at the end of the tournament on September 5th is going to, half of that money will go straight to Liberty Landing, and the other half will still help my friend's brother with his bills he continues to accumulate.
Sure.
So I'm just trying to raise $5,000, $1 at a time. The night before the tournament, I have not been clean shaven in 16 years, regardless of how much we raise. This bad boy's coming off the night before we play in the tournament, and then we'll play in the tournament on September 5th and raise as much money as we can.
I think that's awesome.
Very cool. And yeah, it's going to be weird to see you without a beard.
We have not known you
no.
pre-beard.
And if you're watching on YouTube, and if you aren't, go to YouTube just to check out RD's beard. It is a beautifully long beard. We're not talking about he's just shaving some scruff off. This is a big beard.
Huge change. Life changing.
Yeah, I can't wait for that first day on the golf course at the tournament. I guarantee there's going to be some point, I go to grab it and then there's nothing there. Slap myself in the chest.
The phantom beard.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's awesome that you're doing that. It's a great cause. Very cool. Like RD said, he's looking to get $5,000 raised in just $1 bets, or not bets, $1 donations.
Kind of.
Bets. So, take $1, put it into this, share it to 10 of your friends. They can take $1. I mean, everybody, I think, has the $1 to spare. Most of us have the $1 to spare. Send it to 10 friends. If they do $1, they send it to 10 friends. They could easily get to this goal. It's a great cause, and just a very cool thing. Plus, it's going to be awesome to see RD without the beard.
I don't know how awesome it's going to be, but we will definitely see me without the beard.
We won't be able to go by the name Bearded Bartender.
The beardless.
I have a feeling that in just a few short days I'll have razor sharp stubble that my wife will consider a beard. When I go to give her a smooch, and she's like, "Oh, it hurts." So we'll see.
Like it. Follow RD on bet_the_bar. Like I said, if you're going through Des Moines, check out the Flying Moose. It's a great place to hang out. Do you guys? I've never tried to order one. Can you make an old fashioned?
We're shot in beer bar. Can I make an old fashioned? Yes, I can. When we are in the middle of getting our butts kicked, serving 2-for-1s, that's buy one, get one free every day till 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
A quick and still good old fashioned isn't very easy to do, so we lean away from them, is how I'll word that.
They do have some whiskey though. I've been there and drank whiskey before.
Good mules.
They do have very good mules. Yeah, absolutely. So make sure you go check that out. RD, thank you for joining us. We're going to review some whiskey, but thanks for hopping on and talking Packers and the NFC North.
Thanks for having me, guys, and thanks for giving a shout out to the Finnegan Strong golf tournament. We greatly appreciate it.
Absolutely. Everybody go donate. RD, take it easy. All right. Should we talk a little whiskey?
We should.
We should talk a little whiskey. Why don't you remind everybody, what are we drinking today?
We are drinking Keeper's Heart. It's their single malt. Keeper's Heart Irish single malt, aged 10 years in Malaga wine casks. Wow, could I butcher that anymore?
You could. And shout out to Keeper's Heart because they are sponsoring.
Officially the sponsor of our listener league this year, which has been filled. I know we've been
Though I didn't see Channing's email pop through, so hopefully I do get it. But
he's in it. He wants to be. He has a spot.
And then their distiller, Kate Douglas, will be in the league as well.
Yes.
And she's going to be back on our show in September because we haven't had Keeper's Heart on the show in 10 years.
10 years? We haven't been a podcast for 10 years, Justin, so that's impressive.
Sorry, this is the 10 year. In 2 years. In 2 years.
Yeah, so it's gonna be fun to have her back on the show with us.
Yeah.
Talk about everything new at Keeper's Heart. They're doing so much all the time.
Yeah,
Their distillery is such a fun and beautiful place.
it is. It is.
So, but yeah, this specific whiskey is made from malted barley. It's distilled in copper pot stills. It's aged for 10 years in bourbon barrels and then finished in Malaga wine casks.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Also, real quick, my mother pointing out she did hold. I remember this. Held an umbrella over Cade McNown at Bears training camp in the rain while he signed
Mhm.
autographs, and he didn't say thank you once.
Rude.
Yeah, yep.
Just rude.
So, should we do a little scoring?
We should.
I know we this one has ran a little long, but that's how it goes sometimes.
Division previews, man.
I know. It was great talking with RD though. He always
Mhm.
has great insight on the division, and you don't want to just hear us say how good the Bears are and how much everybody else sucks. Even though I was unusually complimentive of the some of the other teams, not the Vikings. Fuck the Vikings.
Yeah. As far as these ratings go, I want you to exclude my ratings one more week because I mean
Oh.
my nose and my taste buds they're still not 100, and I don't want to be off.
Well, you gave.
I want our ratings to be as authentic as possible. I
That's
really
fair.
liked it in the old fashioned, but I'm not saying it's not good in the old fashioned, but I also like have not had a lot of good stuff lately because I haven't had much of an appetite for anything good.
That's
You
fair.
know, I'm not gonna be able to pinpoint things, but I'm still super congested.
Yeah.
Nobody needs to hear about this, but I don't want my ratings to count in our overall things because I want.
You'll have to re-rate them on a different day.
Yeah.
You did give their bottle a 5 when we did their PX Sherry. I assume it still has a 5.
Keeper's Heart bottle is awesome. We even have they've taken some of their empty bottles and they've turned them into glasses, and the Keeper's Heart is like raised on their bottles. So you have these Keeper's Heart glasses. We have them. Everything about the bottle is like crafted. It's made for them.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's unique. So I like that. That automatically gets like, it's a unique bottle. I like it.
Yeah.
Even the stopper, everything.
Yeah, I give it a 5 as well because I did on the other one. Doesn't make sense. The bottle hasn't changed. I give it a 4 in the cocktail. I thought that was a really damn good old fashioned.
I feel like you shouldn't put their 10-year in an old fashioned, but
I know,
holy
but
crap, is that good?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I'm not picking up what I should.
Really?
Mhm.
I mean, when you smell it, it smells like an Irish whiskey. Irish whiskeys are light, almost a little floral maybe, but I also, with every Irish whiskey, I always get it fruit. I mean, there's a little stone fruit, I think, is what I get. You don't think you're getting it?
I'm getting whatever with being sick right now. This is the third whiskey you've had me smell, and I just smell alcohol.
Really?
Yes. And I know that this has character. So this is why my scores are off.
I really like the smell. I think it's very pleasant. I don't want to score too high, but I'm going to give it a 3.8 on the nose because it's just really pleasant. That's just me.
All right. What about on the taste?
Oh, I didn't taste it yet. Did you taste it yet? It's very smooth, but has a lot of character too. It's not
I can
like
tell
smooth,
there's
like
a lot
no
of
taste.
character to it. I like it, but it's
so
hard for me
good.
to pinpoint what I'm tasting.
No, I mean, it tastes like an Irish whiskey that has been aged in those bourbon barrels because you get a little bit of that char almost coming through, but it's lighter like an Irish whiskey. This is the mouthfeel. It's almost a little on the thicker side, I feel like.
It is thicker,
Yeah.
and the glass has legs.
Yeah. Now, I don't know if that's the finishing in the wine. I'm not sure, but I definitely do get a little bit of that fruit from the wine coming through from the finish. Like I said, it's got a lot of character to it, even though it's very smooth.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk more on it later. This has been a longer podcast, so we can start wrapping it up.
Talk more on it later.
Well, because you're going to have to drink more of it later.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's good though. We've tried it at the distillery. I do like this.
Yeah. Yeah.
This whiskey. It's good.
4.2. 4.2. I'm giving it. You know, I'm a bourbon guy, but this is really, really good. This is a great sipper.
Mm-hmm.
You agree?
Yeah.
Anything else you wanted to add?
No.
All
I don't
right.
think so.
Thank you again to RD for hopping on. Thank you again to Keeper's Heart for sponsoring the listener league. We're going to get that going and drafting pretty soon. We'll report on that. I don't have anything else to add. We are going to be back for one more division preview next week, the NFC West, with a couple guests that you won't want to miss. So make sure you check that out.
Yeah.
All
Didn't
right.
have me do quarterbacks.
Oh crap. Let's do quarterbacks.
So we're gonna backtrack that.
Yeah.
You can't have me skip our division for quarterbacks.
NFC North quarterback rankings by looks. I've brought Jared Goff up. He's your first looker.
Yeah, Jared Goff is an okay looking dude.
He's an okay looking dude. Do you want to see him shirtless for the full?
You've been giving me shirtless photos of every quarterback so far. He's more dad bod.
Yeah. Not a ripped dude by any
No.
means. We'll go to Jordan Love next,
Mhm.
who I think he's kind of baby faced.
A little bit. It's got a good smile.
Yeah. No tattoos jumping out.
No tattoos.
So that's interesting. Let's go to our boy Caleb Williams.
Hmm?
He does not have the longer hair anymore. He is short haired.
No,
now.
he is short haired.
Yes. He again, like baby face Caleb.
He almost looks older than Jordan Love.
You think so?
Almost.
I do like you Google him shirtless and it's got him in what looks like a sports bra. I've seen the guys wear these, but they just very much look like a sports bra, do they not?
A little bit. Why?
I don't know. There's something about it that is supposed to be beneficial, but yeah, it's weird to me.
Oh my gosh, JJ McCarthy is a baby.
He is. Look at this little smiling face here. He definitely is a baby face. Probably not as exciting as the NFC East for players for you, but he is a little more muscular. I don't know if that does it for you, but what are you thinking?
I don't know. I feel too much pressure for this division because I don't know. Can you at least have different tabs with these so I can now compare them? You like he's Googling these guys and he's just like really quick showing them.
Well, just moving us along, you know. Yeah, I will get that up. I will get that going.
But okay, we've got Caleb Williams. Give me Goff again.
The Jared Goof.
Yes.
Oops, I accidentally started typing Goof.
Okay. And
Jared
then,
Goff, and then you ready for Jordan Love again?
Yep, Jordan Love.
All right. All right.
Okay.
So let's start with number 4. Who's your number 4?
It'll show me all of them really quick. Keep going. Oh my gosh. This is difficult. I don't like how you're running this.
Sorry. You run the show then.
I will. I don't know. What I feel like maybe Goff 4.
Goff is 4. The old man 4.
Jordan Love. Ooh, I don't know if I should do Caleb Williams or if I should pick Caleb Williams or JJ McCarthy.
Well, he cares about fashion, and in the clip, he said his lips are pink like your girl likes them.
Oh my god. JJ McCarthy's cute. He's cute, but he's baby faced. These are all very young quarterbacks, except Goff.
Except Goff, yeah. Who you put it for?
I put it
you put
for.
the old man last, so.
Oh.
I mean, just from a outside perspective, I do think Caleb Williams is probably considered better looking with his shorter hair.
Yes, I
than
do
his
like him more with
longer
his shorter hair than
Yeah.
longer.
I figured you would think that.
Yes. I think I'm going McCarthy, Williams, Love, Goff.
So McCarthy number 1, Caleb
I think
Williams
so.
number 2,
Mhm.
Jordan Love number 3,
Yes.
and Jared
It's-
Goff
it's
number 4.
2 and 3 are kind of tied.
Gotcha.
But yeah, that's how it's going. Those are the ratings for the NFC North.
Yeah, absolutely. That's all we have for the show. Again, we will be back. Do you have anything else you wanted to add before we get everybody out of here?
No, we are good.
My old fashioned is gone. Going once, going twice.
Sold.